I never know what I'll find. But honestly, that's the best part. It might be something small, something forgotten, buried in the earth for decades or even centuries. But the second I uncover it, there's a rush, a thrill, because I know I've just brought a piece of the past back to life. Every discovery tells a story. Some are tied to history, others to lost treasure. But it's not just about the find. It's about the moment, that feeling, and sharing it with people who really understand the excitement. That's what makes this more than just a hobby. It's a passion, a connection, a community.
No, I didn't. I've just started now.
It's Thursday. It's 8 o'clock. And it's the big detective show. Again?
And again.
Hang on. It's the big detective show. You're watching the big detective.
Right.
Yeah. That's what
So again.
Wait till he nods his head and we'll all do it then.
This is what happens when you give alcohol to people who are in some way slower than ourselves. Good evening, Adrian. Good evening, Donna. Good evening, everybody. How are we this very fine evening?
We're
everybody?
good.
Good evening.
I've still got the t-shirt on.
Hasn't washed.
As well as
Cheers,
peeing
everyone.
herself, as well as weeing herself often, she also wears her clothes constantly and doesn't take them off.
I thought about it. It's not like a hand dryer.
You do know that Dave's behind you.
That's got to come out on the
Yeah,
Bobby
there
version
you
on the
go.
show, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's in his Donna's arse. Thank you for swearing.
Polly pissy pants.
I did not wet myself, seriously. Spilt my drink in my lap and it was freezing cold. It was as cold as it is outside today in my pants.
You slept in them clothes and wore them the next day, I know for a fact.
No, I didn't. Oh, can't do that. Oh, don't it feel like...
Jimmy told us.
What's happened to Stephen Brame? He hasn't been in the chat for a bit. Is he okay?
He was here last week.
Was he? Oh, I didn't see the chat last week.
He just told us to tell you. He just told us to tell you that he doesn't like you, so he's, just wants to keep it direct with me and Adrian. Really.
Love you, Stephen, if you're watching later. Anyway, hello, everyone in the chat. We have got some sad news tonight. Some people have already mentioned it.
Yes, tonight's show. It's inspired a wee bit by one of our previous guests, somebody I've been in contact with quite some time now, via the social media platforms, following the programme Lost Relics of the Knights Templar. Carl Cookson unfortunately passed away this past week, and he has, I know the Knights Templar history, mythology has never really gone away, but thanks to the programme, along with Hamilton White, they've brought it back to prominence, especially in the UK, even though that programme has travelled all around the world via the History Channel. And I know a lot of issues regarding what was actually put on TV, and some of the way that things that were said by Carl and Hamilton were altered to suit the History Channel's idea of what the show should be about. but nonetheless called it a lot for the subject, and he was a thoroughly nice chap as well. And
Yeah, he was.
I will miss chatting to him. So tonight's show, we chatted. We didn't have a guest this week, so we said, should we bring Donna out of the cupboard under the stairs and let us all talk about the Knights Templar, the history, the mysteries, and whatnot, which has actually made Donna do researching and Adrian do researching and me just like.
Did Adrian do research? I don't believe that.
Yes.
Get books out the cupboard a minute ago.
Dave's got books. Should we just say hello to people in the chat?
Hello to people in the chat.
Before we've got Nick West. Hope you're well, mate. Bless him. Nick West had a heart attack in the middle of the field, and if it wasn't for the farmer, he would have been dead. He was found. Andrew T, hello.
And well done to Nick and the team from the Military Heritage Museum, who have just received news that they've had a grant accepted for the Military Heritage Museum today, which will go towards their travelling roadshow of museum finds.
Congratulations. Well done, guys.
Nick and his team found something in a field, not in this country, which I won't say what it is, but he's going to come on the show and talk about it. And all I can say, it's a detectorist's dream. So really,
I've got a clue, and he thinks I'm right, and I'm so excited to see that.
Hello, Jim Painting. He's got an Xterra Elite Pro. I hope you're getting on okay with it. Dominic Tomzik, Nick Berry. Hi, Nick. Hope you're well.
I love it when Adrian says people's names who are Polish. He gets them right as well occasionally.
Nick, thank you very much. I'm giving this to Julian Evan Hart tomorrow because I haven't seen him for a long time. So he'll get very excited and cry. David Evans, hello. John Clayton, Steve Bartlett.
Steve Bartlett.
Jeff Block. Yes, him as well. Mr. Philip Will's World, which makes sense because he knows
Will's World. Party time.
Hi, Keith. Hope you're doing well, Keith Ellis. Dave Seymour. Michael Jarvis, hi Michael. Mr. Howard, thank you Howard for joining. Mr. Frankie, Gareth for joining us. Ava, hiya, hope you're well. Lovely lady, she was at Rodney Cook. Otis, hello mate, you all right? Otis in the chat.
Jacqueline Walker's in.
Jams Barnes, new viewer, never heard of him. Cheryl Dawes, hello Cheryl. Very looking forward to catching up tomorrow. Metal detecting at Middleton Castle, which I'm going to film and put on the show next week. That is
have a wonderful time. I didn't even know. I didn't get told in time. Somebody's going to have to give me an email address so I can get in contact.
Donna, you're going to have to sell out and join social media if you want these invites. No, we're not going to tell you otherwise.
To be honest, Cheryl hardly promoted that, and it sold out really quick because it's going to be a really good event. Rob Lewis,
good luck,
Kevin Allen, Derek Sherwin. Hi, Derek. Hope you and Andrew are okay.
Matt Kenton too.
Hi, Kia, 1976. I wonder what year you were born in.
That's what year car she's got. The Kia 1976.
Very early one. Christ, done well keeping that on the road. Anyway. Talking of Knights Templar, I have done a bit of research. Can I just
put in?
Go on.
You mentioned Dominic Tomzik. I just want to, for 5 minutes, I've gone stupid thing. Mark Ollie, friend of the show, he's going to be coming on in the near future. He's part of a symposium at the Mead Hall in Bartstree in Herefordshire, which is why it reminded me with Dominic Tomzik, who's from that way. On Saturday, the 20th of June, that's basically the night before the solstice. And it's the Mysteries of the Knights Templar Symposium, which is obviously why I wanted to mention it. The stunning Viking Mead Hall and grounds are the setting for one day of talks about the Knights Templar. Our speakers will deep dive into the lives of the intriguing order and the mysteries that they protected. If you want to find further information, email templarconference25, one word, @gmail.com. and ask their information there. But yeah, fantastic. Would be a fantastic event, and in fact, we could ask Mark to give us his 10 penneth about the Knights Templar when he comes on, perhaps.
Yeah.
Sorry, Adrian, I interjected.
No, I'll get myself out the way, and then Donna can fill in. But some interesting facts about the Knights
Mark
Templar.
Holly will be there.
They began as only 9 men initially, founded in 1100s, and it was Europe's first multinational bank, which is quite amazing in the 1100s. And this is one thing that got me. We think of Knights Templar, we think of the Knights. Only 10% were actually Knights. The rest were landowners, pilgrims, and like different
followers of the order.
Farmers, builders, and they had support staff with them as well. But the thing I love is their rule book, Knights Templar rule book. No private possessions were allowed. It'd be a nightmare for you, Dave, wouldn't it, with your van bits? Simple clothing only. Silent meals.
I only wear shorts and a t-shirt.
Well, yeah. No hunting. Limited conversation. Donna, you're out.
Donna's out.
Some rules even dictated how many candles they could have at night. How blinking amazing is that?
4, apparently.
4? Oh.
4 candles.
And the one thing
he fell for that, didn't he? Even Donna got that one.
No, I got it, and I was just waiting for him to bite.
The one thing I love about
why 4, and then I thought,
the one thing I love is it was the first recognisable logo, which still to this day is plastered everywhere and stuff. And if anyone's into design or art or CDT or technical drawing, as we called it in the 80s, it's an amazing logo, which is simple but yet very interesting. And also, from what I read, Friday the 13th originates potentially from them as well.
And that's basically because the bad luck thing is the Friday the 13th of whatever month it was that eludes me at the moment is the day that King Louis of France and the Pope decided to, let's say, disband the Knights Templar for their own profit. And basically the order was put out to arrest, kill, whatever, take any means necessary, get rid of the Knights Order, the Knights Templar Order.
Isn't that amazing? British history that, well, it's, for us, Friday the 13th. No one else doesn't celebrate. No one else has issues with Friday the 13th. Today outside of
Not even the French.
No. So it's an amazing bit of history, and more importantly, there's artifacts and partifacts that potentially could be linked to that, and I might have found one of them. I found a ring not too far from the second most important Knights Templar location, which is still there, Cressing Temple. It's a museum sort of centre now in Essex, Braintree, Essex. It's called Cressing Temple, and if you Google it, it had some major significance. And I found a gold ring with a cabochon sapphire, which everyone who watches the show heard me say it loads of times, not far from there. And it could have belonged to a Knights Templar, a finger ring. So yeah, it's something which I think you'll never ever stop writing about, or someone won't, because there's so much information on it. It's amazing.
Well, look how many Templar locations are easily accessible in the UK.
Yeah.
The most noticeable is that of Temple Church in London. And then thereafter, Roslin Chapel in Scotland, which, if it wasn't for, I was lucky to spend the weekend at Roslin College Hill House, which is the building next door to Roslin Chapel, pre-Dan Brown. And luckily for myself at the time, if you were staying in the residence, you got free access to Roslin Chapel. So I spent 4 days sat in the chapel and had what can only be described as my only religious experience, not godly and what have you, but with the organs and that going off and sitting in an empty church with this fantastic architecture around you and the sound of the organ and what have you. It was just contentment and peace, which some could suggest in their religious terms would be a religious experience. That would be my only fascinating, and so many others as well. And Carl and Hamilton again brought a lot of them to the public perception again.
Yeah, definitely. Dave, Simon Hadlow has just said was on the other feed was too big for the phone. On our left is the other feed.
No. At the start of the show, I said to Adrian, right, we struggled last week because some people who were watching the phone couldn't see it properly. So it gave us the option at the start of the show tonight to have it either landscape or portrait. So I chose to have it in landscape. So if you are watching on your phone in portrait mode, put it in landscape mode and everything should work well.
Just like that.
Just
Did
like
you
that.
see what Andrew T's showing off? Because he's met both me and Digger Dawn, and I took his profile picture. I'm sure, Andrew T, that's nothing to write home about. Bless your heart. I love it, by the way.
Adrian McStraw. Hi, Adrian. I'm watching you from Villamora having a few pints. Top man, Adrian.
Cheers. I'm drinking.
Quick draw. You are very sad watching us while you're drinking pints in somewhere that's a word.
I'm drinking lemon-infused lager. It's very nice. You're a death cowboy. Wow.
Well, it's death of, but it's disappeared. There's the allergens, if anyone's interested.
Is it any good, is the question?
No, hate it. Awful stuff.
Now, when we were talking about, obviously, we asked on social media for anybody with any Templar-related finds to send them in and we'll have a look at them. Unfortunately, can you turn the combined chat on? Certainly. I do forget. Thank you for reminding me. I did ask Shane, who had a Templar coin, to send me the images, but unfortunately he doesn't have it anymore. It was a rather stunning Templar coin.
Was it a Portuguese moidor?
That is not a land in Lord of the Rings.
No. Well, it's very funny because things like Moidor, Aragon, they're all Portuguese. They're all Lord of the Rings. There's quite a few connections with names from Portugal and Lord of the Rings. And
of course, there are lots and lots of Templar sites in Portugal.
In fact,
one probably in Aragon.
Oh,
there is. So,
show on YouTube on your TV shows you in portrait via my channel and Skype.
You'd have to turn your telly on its side.
I've no idea. It's a funny new bloody thing by. We had another one pop up at the start of the show, but I was too late to say it was something about Mars, and I missed that. So I've no idea what Mars is.
They keep updating things. They keep twiddling buttons, and then nobody knows where they're at. They don't.
For the past 8 weeks, StreamYard, I've had something new, hasn't it, Adrian?
Yeah, it's good. Oh, it's not good.
Because you can, technology. So, where are we starting
Jim
with
Painting says there's an area in Kelvedon on the Roman road called Knights Templar, a trade route.
Yeah.
At the Rodney Cook Memorial, 3 years ago, I believe, there was a Knights Templar site at the top of the fields there, I believe.
Yes.
Yes, it would have been 3 years ago.
Yes.
But this is a realm of interest that can go on. I've got 5 books here. Dan Brown's, what was it called? The famous one. Mine's gone blank. Da Vinci Code. A lot of it obviously was Templar related within the book. And that was apparently based on this book, which is one of the most famous, Holy Blood and the Holy Grail, which basically suggests that the Holy Grail itself was nothing a chalice. The chalice being the woman's shaven haven thing. That was the chalice, and therefore the Holy Grail and the Holy Blood was actually Mary Magdalene, if I remember correctly. And the Holy Bloodline is therefore the Holy Grail, meaning that apparently somebody in France claims they've done their genealogy and they are that person, is
you'd have a problem with that. You'd have a problem with that. But in terms of doing your genealogy and records only go back so far, you would have to you would have to be in a situation where you had a written record, a watertight record handed down from person to person, like in the Da Vinci Code, that says, "Oh, by the way, your bloodline is this." It's not going to be a written, recorded thing. I mean, the San Grail thing is interesting because whichever language you look at it in,
it means something totally different.
No, it doesn't. It means exactly the same thing.
No. There's Sangreal or Sangreal. There's two different ways you can read it.
If you look at Sang Grail, there's two different words. They both come out as a shallow bowl and blood, which is quite interesting. Even in medieval Latin, even in medieval Latin, they come out exactly the same as they would do in French. And I don't know where the idea of San Grail comes from. Who originated that? There are a lot of things when you're looking at research where nothing survives. Very few things survive. So why we're talking about the Knights Templar tonight is because Carl Cookson and Hamilton White actually made a television program about the finds that Hamilton had made and put together from the Tomar hoard. So for those of you who don't actually know what we're talking about, I think it was 2022, 21, 22. These two guys came on the show, and the show was called The Relics of the Lost Relics of
the Knights Templar.
And it's basically after the name of I think it's History Channel TV program that they made about searching for the origins and the relics from a purported hoard found in a place called Tomar, Tomar, in the south of Portugal. And Tomar is way up the River Tejo, and it's so way up the River Tejo and the River Tejo is the massive big river that goes past the port of Lisbon. But it's off a tributary of a tributary, and it's tucked away in a little village quite inland. And the Templars really did like these places. You don't dispute that this place was potentially an early Templar site, because pilgrims seem to go upriver and hide away. They have a presence in the main ports, but I think what's going on in the main ports is far, far too visible. Much better have yourself tucked away so people don't really know what's going on. From the beginning, so they started, as Adrian quite rightly said, in 1119. And so if we're looking at artifacts, which is what Hamilton White was accumulating, we can talk about artifacts from what we would call the Norman period and before, right up to the 14th century, early 14th century, when the Templar were basically extinguished. They were banished by decree of Pope Clement II, and I can go into that. But I've got a question mark over the fact that these are potentially the only relics that exist. They're that secret. Relics from that period are fairly rare, but it's very hard for us to search from a basis in the UK, because a lot of the things that we're looking at or we want to look at to compare and contrast are going to be in museums in Europe rather than in sort of British museums with the style. Yes, sir.
How, as a metal detectorist, would I know if I found an artifact or a partifact that it was linked to the Knights Templar?
Well, this is it. The only thing that we're going on with the relics that are in front of you now is the religious symbolism. So there's the symbol that is used, the motif that is used to define the Templar Knights is what is called a cross pate or patti, and it's a cross not unlike the early Iron Cross of the First World War. The difference between the Black Cross, which turned into the Iron Cross, it was the monogram. It was the symbol of the Teutonic Knights, whereas the Red Cross of the same shape on a white background is the symbol of the Knights Templar. But that's really the only way you would know. Templar was so secretive that they left really no trace behind them. They actually, if they left marks, they were very subtle marks engraved, say, in the corner of a fireplace. If you've got a really old house, you might have a cross engraved in the corner of a wooden mantle. That kind of thing. You can barely see it. We've got a pub in Soham.
Donna.
Yeah.
Adrian's got his hand up, but you can't see him because he's not on the screen.
Darling.
I can't.
Sorry.
I can only see him on the bottom of the screen.
Thank you. Sorry, Donna, to butt in, but this is quite important. So Andrew Taylor has kindly emailed us, and he said on his screen we're like portrait. So if you log out of or close YouTube or go back and go back in again, and this is anyone watching on a tablet or a desktop or your home TV, leave the show, come back in, and we will appear perfect. It was a little glitch at the beginning of the show. Sorry.
Speak for yourself. I'm perfect all the time, darling.
We're all God's children. Sorry, Donna, whilst I've paused you, I think one of the things you're talking about, the Knights Templar.
How would you know? Yeah.
This is actually a glitch. Apologies. This Mars I was on about before. It's called multi-aspect ratio streaming, and it should stream. Says stream to YouTube in both formats simultaneously. It counts as two destinations, so you're either going to have to find us in the live that version or the live that version. So that would normally be Reels, the portrait, and landscape would be the show normal. Otherwise, I'm unsure.
It came up on my phone as two separate tabs again, so it'd be two separate tabs.
Yeah, just go out.
If you go back, if you close this down, just shut the show down, go back in. You should go back in live. Just take the tab that you're not in, press the other one, and it should be right. If not, we'll still be live, so you'll miss about 30 seconds max.
Donna.
We'll give you yes. So you wouldn't necessarily know if you'd found something that was Knights Templar significance, because they didn't leave a trail behind them. As you started out so rightly saying, they were monks. They had to swear an oath of poverty. They weren't allowed to own possessions. So they had nothing apart from, as Hamilton and Carl discussed in their show, apart from if it was for church use, for ceremonial use. So that could be for what is an alleged initiation, or it could be for church service. Yes.
But monks don't kill people.
No, they were warrior monks, and that didn't really set.
Warrior monks.
They are warrior monks, and it didn't really sit very well with the church at the time. But funnily enough, there were I did get it, Dave. But funny enough,
But I was doing that because people who were seeing it in small screen, I'm trying to help them.
Go in the middle. Go in the middle. Just go in the middle.
Really skinny. I fit both ways up. I'm perfectly all right.
Sorry,
but
just one other thing. You mentioned about sea and land and that. They did operate a very powerful fleet of ships.
Yes, they did.
And a lot of people say that once they were disbanded in, what was it, 1300s or something, they actually used those ships to carry the treasure away.
Do you pronounce it Accra or Acre?
Acre.
They've shipped off from there. It was never seen again. And a lot of people subscribe. A lot of people subscribe to the theory it's on Oak Island. Well, those people need a slap because the Oak Island Knights Templar theory was made to add the grandeur to the island because it's nothing there. Anyway, sorry.
John Clayton sent you some photos, Dave.
I've got a photo of a coin.
Oh, is it John Clayton? Oh, right.
I've got a photo.
Right, I'll forward them to you, Adrian. I thought it was Dominic Tomczyk, but I wasn't.
I've got a coin from Dominic Tomczyk.
No, it's not Dominic Tomczyk. I've just said it's John Clayton.
John Clayton. John, I've got a photo.
Adrian's going to bring them up on screen now.
Is he?
By the WhatsAppery.
Ooh.
Let's just make sure there's nothing rude there. Yeah. So there might be. No, there isn't. So yes, please speak.
Yeah. So basically, the idea of a warrior monk didn't sit well, but it was necessary. So the reason that the Templar were founded in the first place was you'd had the First Crusade, and the First Crusade just came off the back of the fact that the Muslims had been pushed out of Jerusalem. So our knights had conquered Jerusalem. We had got a stronghold in Jerusalem. It was safe for pilgrims to go to the place of the birth of Christ, to make pilgrimage, to pay their respects. So before then, it had all been held under Muslim governance or Muslim power. So the First Crusade was a bit of a bloodbath. People were carrying money because you need money for your journey. So only wealthy people could afford to go, but it's a long way. So you are carrying money for your journey. And of course, you are a brilliant target for robbery. If you've got any jewelry, possessions whatsoever, even a horse, you're going to get robbed. And apparently people were coming back saying that there were absolutely piles of dead bodies on the side of the road where people had been attacked. And you daren't stop to bury the dead because if you stopped, you'd get attacked. So it just wasn't safe. So this chap called Hugh de Payne, he went and had a little chat with the guy who was then king of Jerusalem called Baldwin II, and said, look, this isn't good enough. How can we get these people from A to B? If you're willing to support me, I'm willing to set up a holy army, if you like, to protect these people on their way. And it starts out really, really small. It starts out, Adrian quite rightly said, with anywhere from 9 to say 30 people. I think it's a very small number of people to begin with, and then it grows and it grows as the ability to recruit becomes bigger. And basically how the Templar are set up is under the jurisdiction only of the Pope. They are Knights of Christ. So the next person to God is the Pope. They only have to report back to the Pope. They have no other authority over them, no matter which king, whatever. The Pope is in charge. So they get to really do their own thing in the name of God, but they're protecting the pathway. As the Crusades move forward, this is when they really start to go into battle with people like Saladin. They become more, say, warfaring creatures, but we're talking about 200 years worth of the Knights Templar getting stronger, more powerful, and more rich in Europe. Now, they're still not allowed to own possessions, and they are still not allowed to, so they're not allowed to have any adornment to their costume. They wear a plain chainmail with a white tunic with a red cross. The red cross resembles the blood of Christ. They obviously have their horses to look after. They have to attend all of the services through the night and day. And Jim rightly says, and I'm getting to that, Jim, but they had to attend all of their services through the day and in their downtime, whereas normal monks would actually read or write and study the scriptures. Our Templar monks went out and played sword fighting and got strong and looked after their horses. Now, as this system grew, they needed funding. Nobility bought into the idea. So we're talking about the 12th century here. If you were a wealthy man and you had sinned and you couldn't be really asked to go and sit and pray all day in the church for your soul to be saved, you didn't really want to go into purgatory. You just shelled out a load of dosh and got somebody else to do the praying for you while you carried on sinning. So they started to acquire wealth through this. And as people died, people thought they were a great idea. They were supporting the Crusades. They were supporting a holy mission. They were supporting the pilgrimage. People left them estates in their wills. They gave them estates. And so the wealth accumulates. Now, it also accumulates, and Jim's brought this up, they get to a point where they are able to take on the responsibility, and it's not too long after they begin, of receiving deposited cash. So they are like Britain. They're like the world's first bank. If you want to go on a pilgrimage, Adrian, you're going to go on a pilgrimage, and you're going to take 20 grand with you to last you to get
got that
to Jerusalem. That's how much.
Oh, sorry, you're saying, for example.
Yeah, so you're
going on one.
No, yours is to the brewery. So you want to go on a pilgrimage, but it's not safe for you to take 20 grand. You're going to have to take it in gold and jewels and all kinds of things. So what you do is you deposit that with your local Templars. And your local Templars say, thank you very much for that. Here is a note, and it's like a check. It's like an actual promise.
Credit note.
Yeah, it's a credit note. It's a promise of cash. So you can then exchange that credit note when you get to your next destination for actual real money, and you can get another credit note for the balance. And so you go on. So as you travel, instead of carrying your 20 grand, you can pick up 500 quid at every destination you want to stop at and fill up your pockets without making yourself too much of a target. So that minimizes risk. But in this way, obviously, some people don't come back. The Templars still get to hold on to their wealth. They're not necessarily going to give it back. It's probably non-refundable. Go on then, David.
And of course, I've lost myself now because you were talking.
Can I just say something? Do you know what? Out of all the things I'd love in my hall, and I've only got a small hall, it's not really big, is that helmet.
Very cool.
Talking of this helmet, I'm just going to give you a brief overview of.
I love talking about helmets. Don, I like talking about helmets.
I'm not going there.
I like a good helmet.
I'm not going there.
A helmet, on a stand with a shaft going into the helmet.
Yeah, massive shaft, like really got a lot of girth.
This is like carry on metal detecting.
If you saw that helmet, it looks scary, doesn't it?
Well, this helmet, each of the episodes focuses on a different relic from the first season. The second season, it changed the name from Lost Relics of the Knights Templar, and I can't remember the second season name. This helmet was once actually owned by Heinrich Himmler. The helmet is suspected to be made in the 13th century, is in the style of great helms favoured by medieval knights. Heinrich Himmler may have once owned this helmet, and it is almost identical to one on display at Alte Zughaus Museum in Berlin, named the Dargen helmet. The nice, beautiful, long sword there.
Do you want to talk a bit about
if I
each
remember
show.
correctly, friend of the show and a good friend at events, Anthony Pleece, found a Templar hoard a few years ago, but we won't say any more about that. Anyway, this sword was potentially carried by a Templar Grandmaster who died at the siege of Acre in 1291. This chalice, and that's quite obviously a Templar cross on it, is an obsidian chalice. It was made from the world's rarest materials, obsidian, known as volcanic glass. It stands at 21 centimeters high and a diameter of 14.5 centimeters at the lip and measures 16.5 centimeters across the most bulbous part of the bowl. This lovely little piece here, a libation cup, a stunning piece of medieval marble art with carved heads acting as handles, again with a Templar cross on it. And look at that! You'd like the helmet, Adrian. I'd love to put my hands in this box. I tell you,
I do love a box, but I like a helmet first.
Imagine that helmet inside this box.
It's got dirt. No, it's clean.
It's the reliquary box, an ornate item possibly made in the 13th century, is 29 centimeters tall. Several characters are depicted on the box, possibly St. George and Jesus Christ, but in monk robes.
Can I? Oh,
you can butt in, yeah.
The only reason I butt in is something quite relevant. Nick West has just put, I have a German helmet that was owned by Lord Haw-Haw. So anyone who doesn't know
he was Lord, he's mate, wasn't
he? He actually, Nick West, you'll crack up at this. He actually was a lodger in the house next door but one to me. And I've spoken to an old lady who's dead now, who watched him being arrested outside the butcher's in Great Baddow in the Second World War. So, yeah, Lord Haw-Haw, he was a spy. Google it. It's a really interesting story, actually. But, yeah, Lord Haw-Haw. And you've got his helmet. There's a lot of helmets on the show tonight.
Aren't there? It's believed that the Tomar hoard is stated parts of an actual hoard discovered by treasure hunters looking for Roman items in the early 1960s in Portugal. So there may be other things about as well. If you want to watch the episode of this show, I'll be putting a post together over the weekend, obviously in memory of Carl, on the Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine. And I will include the show in that. This post, if you want to read this, if you just Google Tomar Hoard, Tomar, it is the top ranked thing on there. So crack on at your heart's delight.
It's important to say actually that disc on the front of the helmet is actually on the helmet that you showed.
On the helmet.
Your helm.
Helmet.
Your iron helm.
Helmet.
Yes, that one. The disc.
We made Donna keep saying helmet.
I know you did. Sorry, I don't see this. I'm used to children. But the disc on the front of it was actually put on helmet, big helmet made of iron, a very hard one.
You're filth. We can't have you on the show again. You're filth.
Right, we
settled down. Start again. The disc on the front.
The disc that people may be curious about is actually that oval disc was actually put on by the former owners. So if it was owned purportedly it was owned by Himmler. But
how big was the disc?
The German army.
6 inches.
You're gonna get a slap. If I could just lean. Oh, you're over
just
over there. Just give him a poke. But it was put on. Yes, thank you. I know what you're doing. It was put on by the German military just to say that it was part of their collection. So that's part of its provenance, if you like, and part of its history. So you wouldn't normally have a little disc like that on one of those kind of iron helms. I mean, imagine the weight of that on your head. That's
head, yeah.
Right. Have we all settled down now? So I thought you were going to talk about each individual item as you went through. I mean, I think so. The story is that the books. So whether it's a reliquary or whether it's a strong box, it's more likely probably to be a strong box because it is made of iron. That was the first find that Hamilton made, and what Dave said is right. So group of guys, they were basically digging in what they thought was a Roman cemetery, or they were looking for a Roman cemetery. And as it was, they'd got the wrong side of the river, but they'd stumbled across what was possibly this former Templar castle or stronghold. And they dug up there were actually two hoards, which they believe there were about 30 items between these two hoards, and then they've uncovered more as they've gone on. But this hoard was dispersed because it wasn't treasure. They were looking for treasure. It wasn't treasure. The most they got out of it, they think, was to prize some gold inlay out of one of the obsidian cups. And it turns out that there are two of those. So one of the cups, the black cups, was the first cup that was discovered, and that was the second find after the books. So when Hamilton found the books, he actually found it on eBay, believe it or not. And he wanted to meet the person who he bought it from, flew over to Portugal to meet him. He got a feeling that if there was that kind of stuff, there would actually be more. Now that box is interesting. It's probably, to my eye, it's probably been later engraved, I'd say. I don't think the engraving is contemporary with the feet, but I'm more interested in the feet. But Jesus and Mary are hidden round the back, as it were. So they're not visible. It's almost like they're a secret. So the actual embellishment on the front and the sides, I think, may be a later date. And I'm not sure whether Hamilton didn't think that himself when he was talking about it, but you can see it would have had a whacking great lock on the front of it as well. And I think he said before when he was talking to somebody that he thought the lock had been replaced or the mechanism had been replaced too. So there's a lot of secrecy has gone on. I can see that, Nick West, and it's very rude, and I'm not answering the question. So there's a lot of secrecy around these finds and how they come to light, but he ends up going to Switzerland to track down what is an obsidian cup with what they think or what they believe is an emblem of the Templar Knights on it. It looks, I mean, I thought it was the cross patty. I can sort of see it, but it almost looks more like a hexafoil with a couple of leaves missing to me. It's definitely symbolic of some kind. But if anyone knows what obsidian is, it is a very rare material. They think that this obsidian came from...
It's what kills the White Walkers.
It's what kills the White Walkers.
Yes.
Winter
is coming.
Is that from Game of Thrones?
Yes.
Yes, I hadn't watched Game of Thrones. What a guess. Me. What a guess.
I thought you and Sir Stuart would have been all over that.
Oh, don't go there. I would have thought so as well, but no, he hasn't got the patience. Yeah, so there are two of these. There's this size one, and I think this is the smaller one, and then there's quite a much larger one, and they're supposed to be a chalice. The largest one, or the larger one, is too big to hold liquid for one person. It would have been a cup that was shared or passed around between a group of people. So these are all purported to come from this Tomar hoard that was split up, and one of these, you can see where there's a big crack through this cup, and this is where Hamilton believed that they'd actually tried to prize gold inlay from. And it would have looked very impressive, actually, I think, with the inlay in it. But that was probably about the only gold they got out of it. And he said the receiving surface underneath there is quite rough, which it would be if you were adhering something to it with vegetable glue. Next, I mean, the baluster is right. The cup shape with that lip on it, I'm not sure, but it's quite difficult to work, and it's rare material to get hold of. This, I mean, to me, this looks a bit Roman. This is what they call the libation vessel. It's a hollowed out.
I have to disagree with you there.
What, that it's Roman?
Yes. Them faces don't swipe me as Roman. I would say the more European medieval.
I would say they're more European Roman rather than Roman Italy Roman. But I don't know. I think that the hexagonal base and don't know, but
and I mean, Dean Daddy says it actually reminds him of a font.
Yes, it is. It's like a miniature font, and it reminds me of very early Roman Christian symbols. It's basically something that would have been used as a mixing vessel, so a bit like a mortar from a pestle and mortar, and it has a pouring lip, so it has a cutaway, so you can actually pour the liquid out of it. And Hamilton called it the libation vessel, but you can see how very finely carved that is, and it's of alabaster or marble, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a stunning piece.
Dave Seymour thinks it looks Persian. Philip Wills thinks it's got an Egyptian beard. Derek Sherman thinks it's a bit of Norse going on in the facial areas.
It's interesting what Philip is saying about Egypt, because there were connections between the Templars and Egypt.
You haven't said about Freemasons, the link.
No, we'll get to the Hermetic bit in a bit. Yeah.
Well, we've got 4 minutes before Adrian's Wall, which is
right.
tonight.
So basically, the Knights Templar become really, really rich. The Tamar Horde may or may not be part of a Templar deposit, but it's scattered far and wide across Europe. And what Carl and Hamilton, and I mean, what tremendously nice guys, they're bringing these materials together to get this conversation, like Dave said at the beginning of the show, to get this conversation going about the Knights Templar. And they wanted to, their aim was really to get it into the public view, to get it into exhibition, to collect as much of it as you can. But it's very hard to do, A, when it's so very, very rare, and B, when everything has to be done in secrecy because people don't want to reveal their sources. Now, in addition to what we've seen, there are more artifacts. There are some white goblets. There are also some carved stone heads, which the Templars were known to worship, but I have seen some of the carved heads, and they're not unlike some of the East Anglian monk carvings that we see quite often. But, you know, the problem with that is that a lot of our East Anglian churches were at one time occupied by or had strong Templar connections. So I know Denny Abbey, just down the road from me, was taken over by the Templar for a little while. I mean, you've got the Crescent Barn just near you, Adrian, and you were saying about how would you identify a find. You made quite a significant find in that area that had Templar attributions. You know, it had no Templar motive on it at all, but it's the context that can make things.
It was the type of patterning on the ring, that made it recognisable.
Yeah.
It's always good to have a bit of patterning on the ring.
I mean, the coin that I've been sent here, we're going to put a picture up after our lovely, I was going to say the 9 o'clock news, but we have got Adrian's Wall tonight.
Well, it's either I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, or Adrian's Wall. So
or Get Me Out of Here because I'm a Celebrity's on.
Yeah.
Is it on? I don't know.
you didn't tell me. You're gonna have to.
I know, yeah, I've done it on purpose, just to see
You
if
know
you were
what?
ready.
I'm getting a ban.
Donna's
or-
talking. Adrian, Dean Who's Your Daddy asks, very pertinent question, are you going to reveal the answer tonight?
Yes, he is.
Yes, after people have guessed what it is.
Okay.
Fingers crossed. Right. So.
James Barnes. He has a KT Commandery to Geophys next year if he gets the chance. Please, can I come as your assistant? I won't metal detect. I just want to come. KT is what the people in the know call Knights Templar, of course.
Yeah. And
I thought
the
it was right,
commandery can also be called a preceptory as well.
So, you know what number goes first. And
It's
Donny,
Ava.
you do the numbers and I will read the answers. And
Ava 21.
Now.
And we've got John Clayton, number 10.
You have to do it in bingo style.
All right. And I don't know all the call outs.
Number 10 was Maggie's dad.
Dean McAvady at 18.
It's not a key. It's not a Roman fibula. Guess differently, people. It's not a seal matrix. It's not a fibula.
69. Well done, John.
It's not a pot leg.
Dave Seymour.
Paul Tongue's got it.
Who's got it?
Paul's tongue.
Well done, Paul Tongue. Well done. How did you get it from that? It's very cruddy.
It's guessing. It's guessing. I think we're going to have to change the way we do this.
Yeah,
we're going to have to change the format, Adrian.
We will.
Yeah, I am. I think we're going to have Dave's dungeon or Donna's dungeon.
Don't have my dungeon, for God's sake.
Can we have
Donna's dungeon? Donna's dungeon's just got cakes and things in.
Cakes.
So this image has been manipulated a little bit. So it's basically a buckle.
Is it? Tell us about the buckle, Adrian.
Well, I think it's copper alloy buckle fragment, the outer edge of a cast, single looped buckle, a frame with the thickened ribbed outer edge with angled knots. One lost in antiquity. As it edges, fiercely braided, suggested date medieval 1250 to 1400. So
now, don't you think if you turn it on its side, it looks quite zoomorphic, and the person who found it must have gone. Oh.
If you found one piece, but to find two together, and they've not snapped recently, you can see from their wear.
It's the same bit. It's not.
So he's very clever in finding that. So
and it was only found less than a month ago, or exactly a month ago.
Yeah.
It's a partifact, is what it is. It's very similar to one of the buckle pictures I showed you earlier.
Yeah, but Dave's right. It's one. Donna's right. It's one single piece of buckle. But if you'd have found that, you could have thought, "Oh, this is you know."
What?
But you know what he needs, Donna? He needs a book to identify that, doesn't he?
He does. I've got one right here, actually. Hang on.
I've got a Buckles book, but it's in the lounge.
Yeah.
Oh, it's that one.
Yeah, funnily enough, it's in here somewhere.
Which, ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to read a review and see a brief video, again return to the Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine this weekend, and you shall read a marvellous article and review about said book by the good Lady Martin.
The good Lady Martin's actually put it to some good use as well. It is an absolute stonking book. And
Adrian and Donna have been sending picture messages all day of buckles next to the actual image within the book, and
it works.
You'll be astounded how many actually are relevant.
Yep, even bits. What I like is, I think what I like is there are lots of pictures in there of construction. So where they've actually put like the buckle plate, the buckle, belt mounts, all on like what would have been a belt, so that you can actually see how everything fitted on, how all the fixings fitted on. So if you find a little artifact, you can piece it together using that book, which they don't normally do. I think that's really good. Thank you.
And also, there has been a comment about that book, which is a good one, from Miss Ellie, Detectorist, who probably people follow on Tubes of View or Book of Faces. There's no actual specific dates on a lot of these buckles, but unlike coins aren't minted, and buckles have been reproduced. So let's say I produced a buckle that people liked in 1290. That could have been replicated in 1350, so it's very awkward. But this book ties down the sort of era, and I was quite surprised. Some buckles I've found, which I thought weren't that old, were actually Roman, and the Romans introduced buckles into Britain, which I didn't know either. So it's a really good book, and who would like us to give one away? Not tonight, but maybe next week. Who would like us to give
one good up for Christmas?
Big book. Look at that.
It's 344 pages of gorgeousness. Can I actually say?
No.
It does give you specific dates. If you find your buckle,
not on all the buckles, not on all the buckles.
If you find your buckle number and you go to the number, it doesn't give you the date in that paragraph. You have to go to the top of the section, which may be 4 pages away, and it'll give you the date. So, and it'll give you the date here between 13th, 14th century. It won't say on Wednesday afternoon in 1745.
No, that's what. It's not like a minted coin. It will say like 19. Well, it won't say like 1627 to 1630. It won't say that.
If you're taking like a plain spectacle brooch or a single leg, it's hundreds of years. You're talking about maybe 400 years that those are in use.
But considering
the ever so lovely Mr. Nick West says that over the winter he's working on his next book, and his first one was fantastic about military buttons.
I still don't have
a detectorist's guide to identifying military and home front badges.
Wow, fantastic!
Adrian, you were saying before Donna jumps in again.
Well, I just said who wants to win it, and I've only had.
Paul Tongue said yes. Dave Seymour said yes. Stocky Stocks. Philip Wills.
Claire the Hare says,
might even be able to give away more than one. I don't know. It's 27 quid, free shipping, greenlightpublishing.com. But it is from the guy who did.
Tim said buckles never.
Identifying detector finds he did as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
He's done about 5. He did the thimbles book, he did the hooked clasp ones, and he did. There's another general finds one he did as well. Matt Kent's giving away a meal for 2 with a hairy view, apparently. That's why my uncle got sacked from the bingo hall.
Evening, Christian Holloway.
It's after 9 o'clock. Sorry, Christian, you've come in at a bad time. A Black Friday deal now on, Adrian. So, where were we? You asked about the idea of Hermetic ritual and the Masons, and Dave will pick us up on all of that sort of stuff. So I'm just gonna...
Well, the Freemasons, what most people don't realise about the Freemasons is a lot of the culture of the Masons was brought from the ideals of the Knights Templar. Now, again, most people don't know, but when you're actually a member of the Freemasons, which I am, there are multiple other subsections, and I have a permanent invite to be a member of the Knights Templar. So, a good friend of mine. Oh, what's he doing now? He's playing.
Yeah.
Oh, it's all gone mad. A good friend of mine, Mr. Peter Hancock, who is a Knights Templar. So when you join the Freemasons and you get to your 3rd degree, a good friend of mine's just got his 2nd last week. Won't say who, but he's a viewer of the show. When you are a 3rd degree Mason, you can join to go either or both Royal Arch or can't remember the other one off the top of my head. So they are sort of like your next. That would be your 4th degree in effect. It's not, but it could be classed as your 4th degree. Thereafter, there are hundreds of subsections. You could join the Guild of Toastmasters. That's one of the subsections. The Knights Templars, the St. John Hospitaliers, etc., etc., etc. There's lots and lots. Royal Arch. What's the other one? I can't remember what the other one is. It's going to do me head in that. But all these subsections obviously exist. But obviously, the Knights Templar, one of my local churches in Siddington, interestingly, where I got married and my children were christened, they have an event every year where all the local Knights Templars hold a service there. So it's still a very big thing. It's loosely, obviously, connected to the original Knights Templars because that meant to have went completely out of the window when King Philip of France and can I just do this because it's doing me? I didn't look at myself. King Louis of France, Philip of France, whatever. I've lost it now. Philip of France and the Pope at the time decided to get rid of them all. So that was supposed to happen, but it's suggested that it did continue on in other forms. And it's been running underground ever since, and it still exists today. However, the
Knights of Christ.
And then there's also half-wits who decide to set up their own Knights Templar organisation nowadays and say they are Knights Templar and withhold the traditions of blah, 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 blah. Donna, yes, Pomsey, it is a loose connection, but it is a connection nonetheless.
Donna, are you a lady of masonry?
No, you're not allowed women in Freemasonry.
No, I've been invited to join our local
knitting club
fundraising.
WI.
No, but honestly, to be fair, they wouldn't want me in it, and I mean that. This belongs to my dad. All of the men in my family are all Masons, so that was my dad's.
Interestingly, when you say all of the men in your family were Masons or are Masons, another little known fact is that people who have a senior relative, father, who was a Freemason, generally get the opportunity to go past all the initiation stages and the blackballing and such like to become a Freemason. Don't you, Mr. Gaylor?
Yeah. Can I talk about metal detectors?
Yeah.
So the Nocta Legend 2 isn't quite out yet. I've got one of them books. Yep. All right. Yep. Yep. The Nocta Legend 2 isn't out yet, but it's going to be very imminent, I think, which is quite interesting. Some people also might have received a Dr. Otech email. Did you get one, Dave?
No, I think I'm probably blacklisted.
I say just
stay blacklisted.
£79 for a metal detector, pinpointer, trowel, and all that. That'll go down like 10 foot. But also, Mine Lab have got a Black Friday event, I think, tomorrow. Which, if you've got a few quid or you want a Christmas present, Mine Lab are doing a Black Friday event tomorrow. So if you're looking at getting a Nox 700, 900 or a Manticore, I don't know if it's all the machines. There could be quite a significant saving on those. So keep your eye out. If you're looking at buying a detector, I don't know if this will go drill down to the dealers, and this is what I'm quite interested in because we're seeing a lot of manufacturers like Garrett, Mine Lab going direct to people now, and there's been some ridiculous, and I mean ridiculous, discounts from some manufacturers selling direct. So I'll be interested to see what happens tomorrow on machines. But so we got that. And there was another thing I was going to talk about, but I've forgotten what it was. Oh, sorry,
Go
go on. No,
There's
go
a
on.
new Andy Sabish book out.
Yeah. Been out
Manticore.
for a little while. Yeah, the Manticore one. Yeah.
Where's the Days 2 one? No Days 2 one.
Chow machine, he said.
Who said that? No.
What?
He, I remember when he slated the, I think it was the Nocta Legend when it came. No, was it? Yeah, it was.
No, he wrote a book on the Legend.
He did in the end, but
Yeah.
he slated it and said, "Oh, it's not a reliable machine. It's inconsistent, all that." And then about a week later, he brought out a video saying how good it was. But yeah, I just wonder how many people are going to end up getting very confused with their machines when they start.
Right, stocky stock Days 2 rules. Yes, we do have a look
I've just had a
nice
nice message off Hamilton White. He's
Hamilton.
obviously, I've just told him we were doing a show tonight with Carl in mind. And obviously it's a shock to his system still. And also he has offered to come on the show sometime in the near future. There's a lot been going on below the radar regarding the relics and such like. So Hamilton has offered to come back on the show in the future, but I've told him for now, go away, clear your head, don't want to rush or anything. So maybe early next year we can get Hamilton on the show. And he's a very interesting person nonetheless.
It's awful when you lose a friend, and especially somebody that you work closely with. And obviously, I don't know about Dave, but we didn't know him personally.
I'm still alive, mate.
Carl seemed,
Oh,
I
right.
don't know how well you knew him, but Carl honestly seemed like a really nice, genuine guy and you obviously meant a lot to each other. You can't go and do TV. When you're doing TV work, there is so much downtime. You can't exist in that world if you're not really good friends.
Carl was a proper working man who made exceptionally good for himself.
Yeah.
He worked very hard to get to the position he got to in life, and all credit.
It sounds like you two guys had a lot of fun, and I tell you what,
it was one of the best shows we've done, actually.
If you can find people in your lives, even if you have them in your lives for a short amount of time, that you have that much fun with, that then you're blessed, and you were blessed.
There's a lot of people a lot closer to him than I was. A hell of a lot closer to him than I was. I know Derek Gibbon. He had lots of conversations himself with Carl. Got on brilliantly with him. Stocky Stocks again, spoke to him via Messenger. John Clayton as well. So there's a lot of people who, and these are people who are in a different world to us. They are out there doing the touring the world, looking for all the information, bringing us all the relevant information about the Tomar Horde, the Knights Templar, etc., etc. But they still were down to earth enough. Still, Hamilton still and Carl, to communicate with each and every one of us, and they've touched a lot of people through the show and personally via Messenger and such like.
He was extremely gracious as well. You'd give him a review or something, or a write up or an introduction, and he was so gracious. He could have been a knob about it, and he was just so gracious. That was so sweet. Nice guys.
Somebody, I'm going to find it and read it out. Somebody put something on about Hamilton on a post the other day, and he said he's been called many things, but it's not a new one. Somebody called him. He was pal with the antique collecting kebab madman. Probably sums him up.
Turkish, but yeah.
He's currently wild camping. He's got away for a couple of days. He's wild camping. He's got beer and crisps and forgot to bring any more food.
It sounds like he'll have to go proper wild and catch.
That's like something me and Adrian would do as well.
Yeah.
Well, Carl, I think going back to Carl, when he came on the show, it was really interesting because not only was he interested in like researching the Knights Templar, but he loved cars. And I know when he was on the show, we were talking. He had a white Lamborghini Countach.
Your little face.
And I got very excited. And then he showed us some pictures. He had a barn full of artifacts and, I mean, the stuff he had in there, Dave. Do you remember? It was a live stream.
It was Hamilton who had the artifacts, and it was Carl who had the big industrial type building with all his cars in. You know, what's his name? Richard Hammond's got his cars in them.
Yeah,
cubes.
But he had a Ford, an original Ford GT40. And
motorbikes,
I said,
all sorts.
But then I said, oh, it's lovely. He said, oh, that's one of them. He had 2 Ford GT40s, original Ford GT40s. And I can remember, I was just like, wow. And he loved these. I think he lived life to the full. And both of them on the show were really good guests. And I look forward to having the kebab man back on. The
antique dealing kebab madman.
Yeah.
There's no pretense there. Yeah, none at all. But
Donna, going back to metal detectors, are you excited about the XP stereo upgrade?
I think it'll be.
Whoa! Same words. Explain before you ask the question. Explain.
It's in mono at the moment. We only hear it. Although you've got 2 headphones, you only get mono. You're not getting a balance between your ears.
Is this that big announcement the other week? They said there's a big announcement coming, the XP. Is that the announcement is you're going from...
But more importantly, historically, the best way to hear sound is from mono.
Mm-hmm.
So to hear good signal, bad signal, iron, I'm really excited about this because...
Philip says it's got to be mono. Derek Sherwin said, pretty sure that Carl also had an Aston Martin Vanquish.
Yes, I think he did.
Oh.
But going back to this stereo,
do you think it's going to be confusing?
No, but I've just written an article for next month's Treasure Hunting magazine on hearing, right? So, without going into too much detail, when we get older, our hearing drops, right? And our hearing doesn't drop on the low tone or the mid tone, it drops on the high tone. So the high tone is what we hear when we're metal detecting. So over the age of 50, your hearing naturally drops. Naturally, however, if you've been subject to shotguns being fired over your head like my dad used to do, never wore ear defenders, letting off air bombs 3 foot away. Loud music pre the Apple thing that says, or Android, you're playing this too loud, you can damage your hearing. Going to raves, rock concerts where you stand right next to the speaker and find it funny that your whole insides are gurgling away. We all suffer with hearing loss. So if we're going to have stereo and we've got slight hearing loss in one ear, are we going to be able to switch? Do you get what I'm saying?
You might completely lose, because if it's anything like when you're listening to stereo headphones, they do this. Stocky Stocks has just said, Adrian, how can I subscribe to Treasure Hunting magazine?
And I'm actually in the process of sorting it for him.
Yes.
So
actually, Stocky Stocks, I've got, if you and anyone watching, I've got a cracking deal. I can't shout about it.
Yes, playing drums for 35 years.
Stocky Stocks, anyone who isn't subscribed to Treasure Hunting magazine, I'm not using a big detecting show for marketing, but if you email me, Adrian, ADRIAN, at treasurehunting.co.uk, that's ADRIAN at treasurehunting.co.uk.
Not ADRAIN.
No, not a drain, Adrian. Email me at treasurehunting.co.uk if you want to subscribe for a year. It's cheaper and you get it delivered to your door. You haven't got to go to newsagents. I can actually get you a free gift worth tens of
£12p.
pounds. Tens of
Pound.
pounds.
Just a pound.
I'm not going to say what it is, but it is something which every metal
They're
detector
clearing the
wants to
stationery
have.
cupboard out again. Don't buy it, Stocky Stocks. You just end up with a box of Staples.
No,
That's it.
Donna,
Yeah.
I'm actually at Cheryl Dawes Dig this weekend. I'm going to be
I'm
pushing
not.
that.
I'm not Cheryl's Dig this weekend.
No, you're not, but that's because you're not in the know. But if you want a subscription, email me, Adrian@treasurehunting. I'll send you a code which will enable you to get a really, really good free gift worth tens of pounds, which will be delivered with your first copy.
That's very exciting.
Yeah. It is. It's actually. I can't get my head around how we're making money out of it, but print's not cheap.
Because you are the biggest metal detecting magazine in the world.
Yeah, we are.
Selling, and also Anglo-Celtic gave Treasure Hunting a massive shout out this week because Jules identified a Viking strap end, Viking stirrup mount that he found. And I thought that's weird that he didn't know what that is. But of course, they are very East Anglian, aren't they? Viking stirrup mounts. You don't find a lot of them north and west.
Adrian, I've just sent you a text message. Read it and you'll go, if you, just to do a little bit of pimping on my own behalf, do you like that?
Yeah.
Good,
yeah.
If you would like to do a bit of pimping on my own behalf, obviously I am the editor of the Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine, which Donna is a writer for as well.
You're going to be getting an article on the Knights Templar too.
You can go to www.archmdmag, as we put in the thing at the start of the show, and we have lots of new articles coming through at the moment. Share screen, share screen, share screen. Is it sharing? Yes, it is. Interestingly, we have the health and well-being benefits of metal detecting, a comprehensive analysis. We also have the unearthing the truth about lords beyond the miracle, beyond the miracles, the cutting leaf fairies, the initial alphabet, teaching alphabet, things that have been found. We have an article on metal detecting's first used to find treasure, puzzle wood, unraveling the mysteries of nature's wonderland. Because it's not just archaeology, it's not just metal detecting, it's also history itself. Celtic coinage mints in the UK. How do we best interpret decoration of early Anglo-Saxon artifacts? And a very good one, mainly by Tony K. Wood, how to use LiDAR, GeoHack, Tithe, and old maps, with lots of links in there. There's lots of different subsections. If you pop on other, there's an ID library.
How many hundred articles?
Lots and 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 lots of ID things.
Copyright.
And we have an education area which will help you find some academic sites that may be of use in the world of research. And we have downloadable content with all back issues of the printed version of ArchMD Mag, some to go up as of yet. And what else is on there? Links. We have lots of lovely links as well.
How many
could I just share? Andrew T is struggling to get post. He's in Canada. How do you say it, Dave?
Canada.
Yeah, he's in Canada. He's getting his magazine posted. Canada have had the world's biggest postal strike ever, I think. It's a nightmare. If he goes to greenlightpublishing.com and there's all the subscriptions, if he looks at the bottom, there's a picture there, and clicks on digital magazines, he can get the digital magazine sent to him for every month for $27.99. So
for the year.
For the year. So what's that? £2? It's like half price.
That's on sale, isn't it? By the looks of it.
No,
Thanksgiving sale.
And there he is, Steve Pettican. Look, there he is. So this
Hello, Tidy.
Hello, so Tidy.
Gareth Howard said the mental health benefits of metal detecting. What can I say? It keeps me out of my mum's loft.
Well, after Tony Kaywood went up there and smashed loads of sherry bottles, tried to light a fire, drilling holes into the bathroom. We're never doing that.
Right.
Nick Berry. We had the chap on from Archie, the guy who does that. Thoroughly interesting bloke. Shane, if you speak to Shane, he swears by it, uses it all the time.
Yeah, I actually did an interview with him, Chris. It's Chris, isn't it?
Yes, Chris, yeah.
Yeah, interview with him a few months ago. Lasted about an hour. It's going to be in Treasure Hunting magazine. And it is an exceptional site. It's got a few bugs in it here and there, but he's constantly upgrading it. And I won't go into. I'll tell you what, we'll get him on, Dave, because he's on his canal boat, isn't he?
It's a good idea. You'll have to duck into a pub.
I'll message him because his website, I think. How can I? I've got to be careful I say this, but a vast, significant amount of hoards and significant finds. The finders have used his website, so it's Archie. We'll get him on the show.
And also, if I'm not wrong, last time he did a special offer for show viewers as well.
Yes, I think he gave free access for 30 days, full access to the site. So, a lot of people in the hobby don't know about it. He advertised this in Treasure Hunting magazine.
Stocky Stocks, what's your real name? Because I haven't got a clue who you are. Right. I thought he was someone else.
He says that metal detecting actually saved him.
Gareth Howard's, Nick Berry said, how does Gareth get in his mum's loft? Gareth says, I weight bear from the waist up, Nick. Just drag myself up immensely strong wrists.
He's got very hairy palms, but really
Andy
bad.
Stockwell.
Andy Stockwell.
Yeah,
right. It's that time of the night. We have currently one guest lined up for the coming weeks. Waiting for confirmation on that, and that will be probably one of our biggest viewed shows ever. But we are awaiting the confirmation of that, let's say. Other than that, we are currently looking for guests. If you'd like to join us on the show to chat,
I've got loads of people I've got to get back to.
Yeah, Donna's supposed to be sorting loads of guests out, but does she do it? No. All she does is sit there pickling bloody gherkins, knitting, making jam, making
chutney.
Victorious sponge to the right dimension with the right amount of cream and the right amount of raspberry jam. See, I know me. Anyway, yes.
Wants to know more,
Tom,
by the way.
Tom Pizarek. We will be speaking to Tom. What?
Yes. If anyone wants to know more about the Knights Templar, based on what I've been researching, there's probably stuff on RKD magazine. I will call it something else. But
Google Tomar Horde, and you will read all about the items from the show.
And we will follow on from this in an article.
And I will also, there will be something going on this weekend, a memorial to Carl in written form, which will say more about the show, more about what Carl did, and also include the full episode of the where Carl and Hamilton were on the show.
Rest in peace, Carl.
Thank you, everybody. And also...
thank you to East of England Rallies for inviting me this weekend to here. Look at that. I'm staying there, and I'm protecting around those grounds. So thank you very much to Cheryl Dawes. And if anyone's there, come and say hello. And I might do a video of it.
I won't be there.
If you are there and you've got your spade with you, obviously get him in the shins. He likes it.
I got chin pads.
Have a good week, everybody. She won't even stop working now.
Go ask Adrian for a selfie, and can you show him everything you've ever found that you've got a picture of on your phone if you are at the dig this weekend, please?
Or you could drink with me. Oh, Matt Kent, he worked in Middleton a few years ago. Save that for next week. Right.
Right.
Have a good
and I
week,
am a
everybody.
lady, Mr. James. Love you loads.
Stay in school. Don't do drugs. Good night, everyone.
You're all
Love
God's children.